Australian films can be fucking terrible. And sometimes they can be better than some of the shit that comes out of America. To tell a short story, there was a little Aussie film that I had no idea about. We saw a trailer for it when we went to go see a much bigger film. Heather thought, I want to go see that. I had no interest in it whatsoever. She dragged me to this random Australian comedy.
Kicking
and I
screaming.
Fucking loved it. That film is Swingin' Safari. And if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you haven't seen it yet, pause this, go see it, and then come back and watch it, because we're probably going to talk about a few little spoilers. Yep. We'll try not to go over some of the bigger points. Yep. But if you want a virgin experience, and trust me, this is the film that really goes into...
You really want it to be...
This film really explores the term virgin experience.
Yeah. Oh, that's disturbing.
So without too much fucking around, this is You're On, the Great Film Debate. I'm Dylan.
I'm Heather.
And so let's just go over Swingin' Safari. You had a phrase you thought summed it up quite well?
I can't remember all of it.
You can pick up your phone. I'll let you pick up. If you've gotten it written down, you can read it.
I got it written down. This is shit, but it sums the movie up.
Well, don't say it if you're going to sell yourself short before you do it. Talk it up. Have some confidence in yourself.
Oh, yay.
This is literally the best speech that's ever been devised. JFK, MLK Jr., they're all glad they're dead because this is going to outshine anything they ever said.
Bitch.
Yeah, bitch.
All right.
You bitch-ass assassinated buggers.
This is a coming-of-age, family, box wine drinking, KFC eating, beach going, sexual revolution finding, baby oil loving, and a how-to guide on how to psychologically screw up your children for the rest of their lives.
I don't want to make fun of you, but sexual revolution finding.
Yeah. Well, what? It was. They're all
no. It was just the way you said it.
They're all so keen, and then it's just like, I don't know if we want this. We've got it, and now I don't know if I want it.
Shall we set the stage? Or was there more you wanted to say?
Oh, and it's just, dead and decaying whale story.
Who doesn't love a dead, rotting whale? I saw Heart of the Sea. I loved it.
Oh.
Getting in there amongst all the guts, fucking scraping fat off the rib cage.
Please, for the love of fucking God, stop.
Love it. Absolutely gorgeous. And let's face it, the backdrop of this film is a rotting whale carcass. It was a blue whale, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So the film's told from the point of view of
14-year-old.
Yeah, 14-year-old boy. He's the youngest in his family.
Yeah, brother and sister and two parents. Yeah.
And his family are one of three at the end of this block. In what was it, the 70s?
I think it was 19. It was based in like 1974 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah, mid 1970s Australia.
And it's
very Newcastle Central Coast families.
Yeah,
if you're a bogan, or if you're a coastal bogan, you'll love it.
It's for you. But the big thing that I liked, or one of the fucking things I liked, is in the trailer. Go watch it. It's worth it.
If I may, if you watch the trailer and you're discouraged, don't fear. I was the same. The trailer does not do this film justice.
It just makes it look funny, like Aussie funny.
Yeah.
And some people don't like it.
Fucking like Howzos and Fat Pizza funny.
Yeah.
It's much funnier and much more clever than that.
Yeah.
It's a very, very good film.
And
spoiler alert from my review.
But obviously it's shown from this kid's perspective. He's like a wannabe director. He's inspired by Jaws.
Got a little,
and they had a
little 8mm camera.
He's only got like 1 minute. I think he says like, I only got 1 minute of film left. Don't fuck around.
It was 11 seconds. He had 11 seconds of reel left on his little camera. Yeah, there's a lot of Spielberg references in this film. I'll talk about one a little bit later.
But yeah, no,
he's the narrator.
Yeah, he's the narrator, and he starts. I think one of the big things that he goes on about is, there were once upon a time there were like 3 families living in a cul-de-sac, and it's at the bottom of the cul-de-sac is meaning like the lower class family. You've got mum.
Well, they're not even working class. They're a little bit above working class. The lower family.
Well, the dad worked going door to door selling encyclopedias.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, right. So you've got your working class, your middle class, and your upper class families. These 3 families hang out.
Does it matter if I say their names on this, or do you want to just go with classes?
It's just going to confuse it.
Okay, cool. But yeah, no,
it's a big cast. It's an ensemble cast.
And it's like, you see how these kids behave, and it's like, and he's like filming, there's like a bit where they're filming something stupid of the kid on a motorbike going up a slide, he lands in the pool, the pool gets shit in it or something. And
he's got his best friend who's with one of the families.
Yeah, the oldest kid in this particular family that lives at the bottom of the cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
They
shoots Daredevil movies and stuff like that.
What were they called?
I can't remember. They're like death jugglers or something.
Yeah, and anyway, but the kid's like, he lands in the pool, he's covered in something, I don't know, and the pool starts to turn red or some stupid colour, and then they're like, oh nah, Mum's gonna freak if she sees this, and then the younger, like, it looks like two twins, goes, oh, I'm on it, and just chucks a bucket of chlorine
on the
kid while he's in the pool, and that happens multiple times during the whole film, and it's like, and then at one point later on, it's like, the halls or something, and then he's like, the kids were going feral and their hair was going green because of the chlorine in the pool.
Because they put too much chlorine in it.
And like the mums and alcohol are raging out. Well, quite
several of the. We got to set the stage a little before this is a bit of a mess. Okay. So it centers around these three families and the sort of the inciting incident, if you will.
Yeah.
God, I sound like a prick. So the inciting incident for this whole sort of film. That's what you call them these days? Films? Movies? Talkies? The three families get together and the three sets of parents, basically they want to have a swingers night.
Well, no, the wives organise
a swingers night between the three.
And they don't tell the husbands at all about it.
Oh, no, they know.
No.
Don't they?
No. If any of them knew, it was the richer couples.
Right.
Husband, he knew. By the way, and it's got like the movie also. It's got Kylie Minogue.
It's got Kylie Minogue. Mother. The two big names are Kylie Minogue and Guy Pearce.
And then you've got Julian McMahon.
Don't know any of these names. Don't even bother.
Okay. And
nobody who watches this is going to know.
A lot of the other people, like the adults in it, are from like a lot of Australian TV.
If you grew up on like Blue Heelers and Water Rats and all that shit, and Neighbours and Home and Away, you'll notice a few of them. It's a big Aussie cast. I mean, it's an Aussie film.
Yeah.
But it's that rare gem. It's a good Aussie film. Yeah, and it's they try to have a swingers party. It all goes to shit. And it's basically like a little odyssey about these three families trying to sort their shit out, getting fucking mad at each other. And it's set against the backdrop of this whale, this blue whale that's beached itself on the coast and is slowly rotting away while the local council tries to figure out how to get rid of this bloated, smelly, gassy, putrefying thing.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it.
It's in the middle of it must have been.
It's in the middle of summer. Yeah. There's a lot to this film. I won't go into it. There's a lot of subplots in that I think are really well handled. I don't know. What did you think this movie was going to be when you went into it?
A comedy, which is what I got. I could not stop laughing, but I didn't. I did not expect it. I just thought it was going to be a funny Aussie comedy. Yeah. Like that's what I thought it was. I didn't. But a bit lowbrow. Yeah, I didn't think that. I didn't actually. I obviously expected there to be a swingers night because that's in the trailer. It's called Safari. But it's Swinging Safari. But that was like an album as well that he picks up and says like. In America, it's called Flammable Children when it eventually comes out in the States. We got it early. It's coming out later in the States. But, and that's another thing. Yeah. Another funny point. But you might find it under the title Flammable Children as well. But which is indicative of what happens in this film. But I didn't expect the kids to be as prominent. Yeah. And it was a lot. It really was a lot. Like there was a balance between it, and it was like how the parents, and it really was like how the parents were, and how that affected the kids and their relationships, and how they saw one another. I didn't expect the daughter of the guy that's narrating it to be the way she was. That was extremely confronting, and like what? The daughter of the guy narrating it. No, the sister of the guy. You said daughter. Oh, daughter. Well, the daughter of the middle class family. I did not expect her to be the way she was. We can't say that word. No. I'll get in trouble for something shaming. But it was extremely confronting because none of these kids are like older than 17. It was a very real portrayal of what kids that age are like. Even now, they did not hold back at all. But they didn't over exaggerate. I thought. When it came time to like the funny moments, like a bit of like some of the more physical comedy. That woman. This is the thing. You know all of them. If you haven't actually been friends or have known this woman because she lived next door. If you've never had friends. Yeah. But you've seen this woman walk down the street. You've had interactions with one on all of She's my nana. But like, you know what I mean? Like, she won't watch this. But Mum will.
Nah, should be fine.
But it's that kind of, and I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be extra. I thought it was going to be over the top.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be over the top. And particularly coming from the director of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh, that was just...
Yeah. No, this was, when I watched the trailer, I thought I was going to be seeing some very lowbrow, just stupid shit.
What, like fart humour?
Yeah, I basically thought it was going to, because that's what Australian comedy is now. Especially any Australian film that makes it to the cinemas. It's going to be it's just going to be crap. It's not going to be something that I like because it's
I wouldn't
usually
necessarily
designed...
say that because, but I mean,
but in my experience, it is, and I'm
but...
very picky, and most of the time I'm fucking depressed because A, the movie was terrible and stupid comedy, or B, it was a movie that made you want to kill yourself because it was so heavy as a film.
I just remember my two favourite like Australian films that I constantly kept watching were like Crackerjack and Bad Eggs, and like a lot of
which to me, I can't stand Crackerjack. Sorry, I don't like Mick Molloy. I will take a Paul McDermott film over a Mick Molloy film any day.
Oh yeah, no,
but there are no Paul McDermott movies out there, so what am I going to do?
And we don't get Good News Week anymore.
Oh, I miss Good News Week
please
so
hire
much.
us for what is the next one called? What's the show coming out?
I can't remember. He's doing a show that's like a giant pub quiz or something.
Fucking,
we're going to
please
audition.
Hire us. But yeah, no, I just...
But those are your things. I can't stand them.
And that's why, like, you like, when he says drag, I mean, like, I was like, puppy dog eyes, come with me to the movie.
Drag. Yeah, no, she dragged me kicking and screaming. Absolutely. I did not want to see this movie. I would absolutely have taken a pass on it.
I paid for that.
I was about as interested in seeing as this is the new Jumanji, which I've still not seen, thank God.
But I'm like, I'll pay for everything. I just really want to go and see this.
And she did. I had a packet of Maltesers and they were fucking good.
But... it was worth it. It was such a good movie.
I was so happy that I was wrong. I was so pleased.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. Start to finish.
If you're vegan, KFC is fairly prominent in this movie. Like,
they didn't actually kill a whale. I won't say that.
No.
We do have some vegans watching. I won't say
that. There's a little bit of animal cruelty thrown in there.
Yeah, but no actual animals are hurt.
No, but like, I mean, it was cringeworthy while I was watching some of those scenes, and I know it's a movie.
It's a movie that impressed me on every level. It impressed me with the writing. It impressed me with the way it was shot. The acting was great. Everything about it was so good. Even for like an Australian film, you kind of expect some things like effects or stuff to be a little bit dodgy. There are some like 3D, like CG stuff of the whale and stuff. Like they do really close-up stuff of it on the beach. They're great. They are spot on.
It was really good.
This is anything you could hope for an Australian film that's funny and watchable.
And even if you can't relate to like a lot of the things that happen in the movie itself, there's one thing you will.
The only way you can't relate to this is if you're not Australian. There is something for everybody.
I just when they put the ice cream plastic caps running away from the plovers.
There's some stuff in that is like, I didn't have the magpie stuff when I was a kid. I never had issues with magpies.
We argued it and it was plovers.
It's plovers in the movie. It's the sound of a plover. But like, that's a big thing in Australia is kids running away from magpies. For me, it was plovers. Yeah. We had plovers growing up near, but that's a coastal thing.
They're asshole birds. Magpies, at least, they'll only go you if they've got eggs.
Well, magpies are an inland thing. Yeah. And seagulls were a more fucking Christ. Plovers are a coastal thing. So
plovers will go for anyone. They're a bastard bird.
And they got poison.
Yeah, and they're poisonous. But magpies, they'll just swoop you and it hurts. Like, you will bleed if it gets you. But, like, that's mainly just get away from my eggs, get away from my eggs, get away from my eggs. Plovers just all year round will fuck with you.
This is a tiny thing. This is just for me. Yeah. This is just a tiny little thing that I noticed and really loved.
Yeah.
There's a bit when they're on the shore. I'll talk to you later about it to specify. And they're doing something very important. And as they leave the coast, it's like Twilight. You see a shooting star in the background. Did you see it?
Yeah.
So that's a Jaws reference. That's a Spielberg reference.
Yeah.
So when they were shooting Jaws, there's a scene when they're out like around twilight on the boat, like in the last third of the film, and there's a random shooting star in the background, and nobody fucking noticed it until the movie came out. Not the director, not the editor, not the cinematographer. Nobody knew it was there. And now, in almost all of his films, except for the ones I've seen apparently, he puts a shooting star in his movies. So that was a direct reference to Jaws. And I really like it. And Jaws plays a part in this film in its own little way.
Yeah. But just everything about it is great. There's not... I don't even like... You know, you say like, you know, how would you rate it? You know, is it a perfect version of what it is?
Yeah. It is absolutely the perfect version of what it could be.
I really wouldn't change...
No!
anything.
I like
really,
a comfort. Like if it's a movie that I wasn't that interested in, I like a comfort level of actors that I know. I didn't know anybody in this except for Guy Pearce. I couldn't spot Kylie Minogue.
I like I said, Guy Pearce, Kylie Minogue, and Julian McMahon. I knew that.
I knew Guy Pearce, and he didn't even look like him or sound like him.
The woman that plays the
and
mother,
he's fucking blonde.
the middle, the tennis one, the mother that was like really liked tennis, but she never played it or something.
Okay.
Middle class wife. The middle class wife.
Can't know.
Okay. I didn't recognize her. She's in, and I forgive me, I cannot remember her name, but she's in almost every major Australian TV
Radha
show.
Mitchell?
No.
That was one of them.
I think it begins with K. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't think of it, but she's good. Like they're all great, and there's just like what when the thing that I find most disappointing with comedies is you see the trailer and you go, holy crap, that looks so funny, I want to see it, and then you go
and all the jokes are in the trailer.
But this was not half the main, some of the jokes are in the trailer, but it's out of context, so you laugh, but then you watch it in context. It's so much funnier on top of everything else.
This is so much better. Great. This is, look, if you only see one comedy in 2018, make it this film. Yeah. This is not an exaggeration. Like comedy. It's fucking hilarious.
Like every time I will buy it on Blu-ray, and every time I watch it, I will piss myself laughing.
And if we've got any people in like overseas who haven't watched a lot of Australian stuff, I'd be curious to see what you thought of this. Go ahead and throw a comment in there.
It is in the 70s, though. It is in the 70s.
70s is a universe. Everyone was in the 70s, except for all us fucking millennials. Little shits. Yeah. That's us.
I don't know if we're millennials.
As far as I'm concerned, we, developed consciousness in the new millennium, so that's what it counts to me. That's what all it means to me. I was 7. I was a late bloomer. I put this film, I looked up like the top comedies of 2017, and it was shit like Daddy's Home 2, Sausage Party. Actually, I think that was 2016. But the list of comedies, first of all, when I looked up top 10 comedies, 6 out of those 10 movies were not really comedies. They were something else. Yeah. But they also had funny elements to them. And the other 4 were trash. Absolute trash.
And I watch things like Sausage Party and Million Ways to Die in the West. Like, I watch all that stuff. Dylan doesn't. He doesn't.
I hate him.
And I laugh.
I'm sorry, but if it looks like a bunch of like SNL reject writers wrote it, I'm done. Set it on fire. Cut the fucking umbilical cord before it's born. I can't do it. I don't like SNL, so why would I like SNL trash? Anyway. But my point is, it's so sad because this movie's not going to get the attention it deserves.
No,
because of the fucking fact that Australians won't watch their own stuff because they're all cunts. Sorry, Australia Day's just come by and I'm a bit... No, leave it. I'm feeling a little raw.
I'll just bleep out the word.
Why? It's like the title of our GTA video. I just put CU *** muffins, cunt muffins. Watch the last GTA video released. It's one of my favourites that we've done. Ignore the frame count. There was an issue in the editing.
Technical problems.
Technical difficulties. Difficulties.
I'm just trying to think of something like to critique about the film, and
I wouldn't.
There really isn't anything.
I would not. There's nothing about it that I would want to critique. There are things that I not necessarily don't like, but can't relate to. But that's a me problem. That's not the problem of the film.
Sounds like a you problem.
Well, I'm not. I've never been very good at being male or Australian, or a child. So there's not a lot. Evidently, ironically, once I hit 20, I started to regress and now behave like a fucking 12-year-old. But there are elements to it that I can't relate to. But there's also there's kids who are very much outsiders of their group, which I could relate to.
I will just say something. I don't mean to cut you off, but there is something that I think that people may have an issue with if you're a bit sensitive to these things. It is a very true to how an Australian family of those classes would speak. Very, what you wouldn't say some of that shit now.
But that's what's refreshing about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel over-scripted or over-polished. And it is a polished film. Don't get me wrong. It is absolutely a polished film.
At one point, they're you don't. I won't explain why, but at one point, the parent, the father of the lower class family, have all 5 of the kids out in the yard, and he's saying how you're all going to Catholic boarding school, and they're all just no, I don't want to go. And then he's like,
the priest will have his way with you.
Yeah, the priest will have their way with you, and it's just you're sitting there at the cinema going, oh fuck, okay, sure, let's do that. Okay.
That's an award-winning actor who said that. I don't know what awards he's won, but he won them. That's an MCU guy.
That was so good, and there's just so many.
I am the Mandarin, and the priests will have their way with you.
But it was just everything about it was well shot. The trailer was perfect. It gave you...
The trailer was not perfect.
I think it was.
The trailer was not perfect because I liked this film and the trailer made me not want to go see it.
Really?
Yeah. But that's a marketing thing. Like, I'm not very good at being Australian.
I thought it was great because, mainly...
It was good in that it didn't give shit away.
No, and you laughed. Well, I laughed. I don't know about you, but, I laughed.
Well, I was sitting there like...
And that's why I'm like, oh my god, this movie's going to make me cack myself.
Well,
I want to go and see it.
Well, I was watching, I'm like, oh, whale juice, that's funny. But I'm just like, oh, well, great. Australia is once again cutting its own wrists and exposing them to the universe.
Fuck, Dylan.
Well, I get angry, alright? I just want good Australian movies, and I got one! I'm so happy. If you take anything away from any of the fucking content we produce, I'm going to wrap this up now. I think we don't want to get into too much spoiler territory. I think we've done a good job of talking about the film and its good points without spoiling anything. Actually, I did have one bone to pick. Some of the songs they used weren't Australian. That is my only bone. It is a small bone. It opens with Spirit in the Sky by Norman Greenbaum. That's not an Australian artist. I would have preferred just that final touch of more Australian music to it, but I can live with it. But that's the only complaint I have. And that's such a tiny thing. So,
it's an all-Australian cast, though.
There's probably a few Brits in there, I can't tell. If you take anything away from any of the content we develop and create, go see this movie. This is what we're all about.
Just do it.
We're all about getting people like us, Australians like us, because this is where we fucking live, and bringing ourselves further out into the spotlight by creating quality.
We'll push the shit out of this.
Which is why we got new mics.
Yeah.
This is a sort of film that's really important to me because this is an example of what I would like to one day achieve for this company. So if you see any movie this year, make it this one.
Yeah.
It's out in Australia at the moment. We put a rush. This podcast was not meant to be...
it was meant to be
this podcast was meant to be a Shape of Water review.
Yeah.
We've pushed that back a week because I love this movie so much. I want to get the message out there. If I can get one more person to buy a ticket to this movie, I'll have succeeded in my eyes.
Do it.
So, to wrap it up, loved it.
Yeah. Won't regret. You will not regret watching it.
No.
And if you do, you just...
You're fucking un-Australian.
You might get a couple of laughs out of it.
You must. If I can laugh at it, anybody can. I'm a fucking prude. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much. I'm Dylan.
I'm Heather.
And this has been You're Wrong, the Great Film Debate. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're not active on Twitter, but go ahead and follow us anyway. It's just good for the numbers. Bye guys.